Welcome to this week's GameVamp NewsCast. This is the place to get all your gaming industry news for the week. So, let's get started. We got 4 stories this week. So we're going to start the first one with selling or not selling. So Sony has revealed some numbers for 2 parts of their business that they have recently decided to explore within the past year. The first one is PlayStation 4 Pro, which is their elite console that allows them to potentially play your games up to up-resed 4K or in native 4K, and their PlayStation VR, which also released this past year as well. So, for PlayStation 4 Pro, they have stated that for every 5 consoles they sell that are PlayStation 4s, one of those are PlayStation 4 Pro. And they've quoted by saying it's way ahead of our expectations. Now, when you look at it, that's not actually a bad number to sell 1 in 5. When you look at it, the reason why I say that is because there still is a $100 difference between the PlayStation 4 standard and the PlayStation 4 Pro. There's a $100 difference. That's $100 that a lot of people, some people don't want to pay out of their pocket. But the fact that they're able to get it down to 1 to 5 is a pretty good showing of how people are potentially understanding the market. Now, on top of that, with some special news, and this is where I'll get interested, and I'm curious on how this might affect the game sales, the console sales, and I'm not sure how much it really will affect it, but for this console, it's going to, for the standard PlayStation 4, that standard PlayStation 4 is right now $299. Well, this week for E3, they are going to bring it down to $250. The PlayStation 4 Pro will stay at the exact same price at their $399 price, which is the original price that the PlayStation 4 came out, and then they decide to make that $100 difference. It'll be interesting to see how many people will probably bite on that extra $50 difference to buy a PlayStation 4, the standard. I think this is nothing but good news, especially if they get a lot of good press coming out of E3. Now, we know for Sony, they have had some killer E3 press conferences the past 2 years. Now, if they stick with this trend, that $50 discount could be a significant increase for already what PlayStation 4 is taking over the market as itself. It's, in a sense, outselling Microsoft at a 2-to-1 ratio. That's insane. It's over 60 million units have been sold of the PlayStation 4. That is crazy. It is catching up to numbers rivaling the best-selling console ever, which was the PlayStation 2. It is keeping up at that rate, and that is insane. Even the Wii, it's keeping up with the standard of keeping up with that Wii console that had crossed the barrier between casual gamer and hardcore gamer. And then with the Wii U, it really didn't show up. But the fact that it's getting there is really amazing to watch. And so it'll really be interesting to see how many more consoles they'll sell because of that $50 discount. Now, in the end, overall, I think selling 1 in 5 PlayStation 4 Pros is a really good number because it is a niche product. I will say that. It's not everyone owns a 4K television where it takes advantage of that. Even though it takes advantage fully of whatever TV it's connected to, it is meant for 4K televisions. Truly, to get the best experience possible, it's meant for 4K televisions. And because it also works on the PlayStation, all the games that work on the Pro work on the PS4. And it's more like they start as the standard, making the game originally for the PS4, and then they decide to try to up-res it the best they can to make it for the PlayStation 4 Pro. It's more like an afterthought and not much of a primary focus. And so that's possibly why it's not selling as hot as it could. But in the end, I think that's a really good start for them. And I think, like it said, it surpassed their expectations. So now for PlayStation VR, it has passed the 1 million mark, which I can tell you is that 1 million mark, none of the other offers out there where it's Vive, what is it? The Google one. Oculus. Those two have not even sold close to 1 million units. So the fact that PlayStation is in Vive and Oculus were in the market almost a full year before Sony even released their PlayStation VR. But I think the 60 million units of PlayStation 4s out there really gave it a core install base that would be able to take advantage of the technology they have to offer and be able to have the best experience possible. Now, passing the 1 million mark for units sold is really, it's a good number. For me, I think it's a good number. But here's what they say. Quote, we would not describe 1 million units as a mass adoption, but we can call it a good start. And that's where I think it is. I think it's a good start. Again, this just came out in the fall of this past year. PlayStation VR has not even been out for a full year yet, and it's already hit 1 million. Now, I think it's because they had some killer apps. They had Resident Evil 7 was a huge game for them, a big game that was able to really take advantage of what that console, that VR experience had to offer. The fact that you're in the horror game, that is absolutely terrifying. And I mean, once I get VR, I really want to try the game in VR because I enjoyed Resident Evil 7 a lot, and I thought it was very, very scary. It made me jump a lot. And I would love to try that in VR and see how that goes. So I think this is a really good start. It's a good in the right direction. Now we just need the properties that are going to just really make the experience better in VR, make experiences that you want to play in VR that will make people want to buy these units. Something like maybe a price cut to the unit could help it as well. So in the long term, Sony, in the end, they're in for this for the long haul. They've stated that very clearly, that they think VR is the way of the future and they're investing in the future. And they think that this is the step in the right direction, and you can't go wrong with being number one in the market right now for VR. Now, even though it's 1 million and there's still 59 million more they can sell to their other PlayStation 4s, it's, again, a good start, and I think that's the right direction they should be going. Now, second story, start believing. So what do I mean by that? I talked in last week's GameVamp NewsCast about Nintendo rumors and how they've come out all the time, and they've been coming out a lot recently, and they all have always been right. Most of the time, like 90% of them have been right. And I said we should start believing in the rumors possibly, and I was absolutely right. When I talked about the rumor last week about Pokken Tournament coming to the Nintendo Switch, that so was true. It is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo did a Nintendo Direct yesterday specifically on Pokemon. It's a very short Direct, specifically towards about Pokemon itself. So I will cover those two in this topic. So, believing this rumor, Pokken Tournament is coming out. It is coming out September 22nd, and it will be it's a Pokken Tournament that came out for the Wii U, and then additionally they will have 5 additional characters, and also be offering 3-on-3 team battles, while also having ranked matches and private matches with your friends. So I think, like I said in the last week's GameVamp NewsCast, this is a great idea. This is a good game that got good reviews. It was up for a Game Award for Best Fighting Game. And actually, my prediction show that never will exist in this world, I predicted it to win. It didn't win, but I predicted it to win. And so I think this is a good direction for them. It's a nice new game to add to their envelope, to add to something coming out, so that we are consistently getting good games coming out every single month. There's usually one game, one blockbuster that you can get for your Switch, and I think that is so good. That is a smart strategy for Nintendo, and I cover that a lot more in my top 5 things I want to see from Nintendo at E3. So check out that video if you want to hear more about specifically that area that I'm talking about is first party. But this is great. This is a really good idea, and I think this is the right direction they're going. Now, this was not rumored, but it also got announced. that there's not a Pokemon Stars that people were dreaming of, which is like the in between of the example of like there was Pokemon Silver and Pokemon Gold, and then there was Platinum. I think it was Platinum, which was the in between the two, or there was Ruby and Sapphire, and there was Emerald. So basically, they're not releasing an in between game that combines the Pokemon games. They're releasing an Ultra version of the other two. So they're releasing Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun. Now the difference is they're saying it'll feature different Pokemon that were not in the original game, and also takes place in the same place, but is a completely different story. And it'll be out November 17th for the 3DS. Now, I am not as excited about this announcement. I really think, and I hope, obviously we still have E3. And again, this is on my top 5 that you should go check out. But there's a reason why I'm disappointed that I didn't hear the news I wanted to hear. But I think this is a nice game to add to your 3DS catalog. They had so much success with having Pokemon Go really hype up Pokemon. And then they ended up selling 3DSs up the wazoo because Pokemon Go got people back into the nostalgia of like, oh my God, I want to play Pokemon again. And it got people to buy 3DSs. And then they bought 3DSs, and then Sun and Moon came out that fall. Right off the hype of Pokemon Go. And so the game sold great. So I think they're trying to still build off that hype train they got going. But I think Pokemon Go has started to diminish, and I don't know if this game is going to sell as well as the original Pokemon Sun and the Pokemon Moon. So we'll see, but I'm not as excited about this news. But we'll see. I'm not very excited about it, but who knows? If you're a Pokemon fan, you're really excited. I am a Pokemon fan, but this is not the direction I want to see them going. And a third story. So, Pimp My Stuff. Kind of like Pimp My Ride, but Pimp My Stuff. So, this is a kind of a random story. And so there have been a lot of talks about custom hardware coming to the United States. So kind of one of the first stories, and the reason why I bring this one up is because I was talking with my friend the other day, and we were talking about the Splatoon 2, because we're very excited about that game coming out. And one thing he mentioned to me was the controller, the custom controller, and how it wasn't coming to the United States. Well, little did he know, it got announced that it will be coming to the States now. But the fact when we have that conversation about things like that don't often come to the States. Now, here, let me finish this part and then I'll get back to that point. On top of that controller coming out on the 21st of July when Splatoon 2 will be launched, Sony has announced that they're releasing a gold and silver edition of their PlayStation 4s, which, one, that will look great on stands. Their eyes will be drawn to that, to go look at that and then potentially buy it if they haven't bought one yet. If you're one of the 60 million, not one of the 60 million that bought it, this is going to catch your eye. But back to my point, when we were having this conversation, we were talking about how a lot of things get announced about custom made things, whether that's like an example, this one did come out in the States, but like there was a Final Fantasy 15 PS4 that had custom graphics on it that looked amazing. I really wanted to buy it. And the reason why sometimes they don't release these kinds of customary things is because they don't think it'll sell in the United States. And this is where I think they're wrong. I think these things will sell in the States. And I'm so happy they're releasing the Splatoon controller. And I want them to also release the Splatoon colors as Joy-Cons, because I think people will buy them. I will buy that neon green. That I don't really like custom colored controllers, but I love that neon green, and I will buy that neon green controller because we will buy these things because these bring out who we are. These make us these different custom controllers, the different kinds of consoles. It allows us to express ourselves as people, to show our love for different things. Now, it's really hard to target to know how many people really buy it, saying like how many people really do enjoy Splatoon. But just because people you're nervous that people might not buy it, or it might not sell a boatload, doesn't mean it's not worth bringing, because that is free advertising. That is free advertising that you get in the gaming market. That's free advertising. When someone comes over to my house, and if I had a custom PlayStation 4 for my favorite game, they could be like, that looks so cool. What in the heck is that? And then you explain it to them, and then it might catch their interest, and then they might go buy that game if they're a gamer, or they might go tell their friend that's a gamer, and they might try it out. So it's free advertising, and it really helps. And so this is kind of why I wanted to bring this conversation. I really want to see manufacturers and companies take a chance on the US market. I don't think they take chances enough. I think they do sometimes. They sometimes do. They sometimes release these customary things, and they do sell like hotcakes. But I don't think they do it enough. I think a lot of times they leave it exclusive for a certain territory. I'm talking about you, Japan. I love you, Japan, very, very much. I want to visit someday, but you get all the cool stuff. I swear to God, I wish I could get that cool stuff. So that's just kind of it. When I was looking at these stories, it kind of reminded me of when I was talking to my friend the other day, and I just thought this was an interesting story. And so it really, what my question to you guys would be, what kind of customary thing have you seen on the gaming market that you wanted to get, but it wasn't in your territory? So you can write that down in the comments below. So finally, to the final story, and I call it 2 steps forward and then 3 steps back. So in other Nintendo news, they revealed how you're going to be able to chat for Splatoon 2. How you're going to be able to chat with your friends while playing the game. So what's end up happening is that you will have a cord. So you have this little like squid thing. It has 2 cords, and they're both headphone jacks. So one of them is going to connect to your console. The other one is going to connect to your phone, because the chat is on an app. And this is all according to the initial release. Again, look at my top 5. This covers partial on my top 5. So basically, the headphone covers onto the phone, and then it covers on your console. And then there's another headphone jack where you plug in your headphones to it. And looking at it, and I'll put it on the screen, it looks way too dang complicated. It looks like so many cords to just do voice chat for a game. And it's not even for every game. And here's partially due to lack of explanation. But it's just, right now, I use a different app to communicate with my friends when I play with them, because I play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and I play that with one of my best friends, and we have to actually go use a different app to be able to have a group chat, where on all other consoles, it is standard to have chat available to you to be able to chat with your friends. It's important for games to be able to chat with your friends, whether you're doing a strategy game. And the harder you make it for people, the more it's going to turn people off, especially since they pushed the service of Nintendo's online service, paid service, because it's going to be free for this year now. It was going to be only free for the summer. And then in the fall, you would have to start paying, which is not very much. $20 a month. $20 a year. Sorry, $20 a year. Easy. That I can do. That is not difficult whatsoever. But this is just getting a little out of hand for their online service, that they either need to explain themselves better so that we can understand what is going on, because they just seem to be releasing little bits of information and we're not understanding the bigger picture. And I think that is something that, with clear explanation, it could help them a lot, because right now this is pushing people back, because they're like, why do we need this to be able to do something as simple as chatting with our friends online? Because I just plug in my headphones into my gaming controller, and hey, you got chat on my PlayStation 4. So it just doesn't make sense, and it's lack of understanding the bigger picture is really hard to know what direction they want to go, or what direction this online chat they want to do. So just make the process simpler than plugging cords in. You're just going to have a cord mess. Really. And then the final thing on top of that for the cord part is like, because it's a headphone jack, whoever has the new iPhone, good luck to you, because you don't have a headphone jack anymore. You have to plug in the charging cord into that and then have an adapter for your headphones. But then what if you have to charge your phone at the same time? Do you have to have a splitter? Is there even existence of a splitter? I didn't even research that part yet, but it's very inconvenient. I'm curious on why they're doing it. So we'll see. So what are your thoughts on these top stories for the week? Let me know in your comments below. And if you enjoyed the content, check out the rest of the content I have on freeze frame rate. If you like the content, go ahead and hit a thumbs up, get the like, hit the if you share it. And then if you want to keep up with the content I'm releasing every single week, which is 2 to 3 videos a week, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Mitch, and I'm signing off saying, see you soon.